Trade Center Memorial in Manhattan. During the ceremony, names of the nearly 3,000 victims killed are being read out loud, along with tolling of bells and moments of silence. For the first time this year, there will be a tribute at the Memorial Glade after the ceremony to recognize people who have died from and are still experiencing illnesses tied to the aftermath of the attacks. The Glade is a dedicated space within the National September 11 Memorial Plaza that memorializes the sacrifices made by first responders. 22 years later, several families of the thousands of people who died in the attacks never miss a memorial service.
Following that day, the incredible sense of patriotism, that's the thing I miss the most. The America 9/12, as they say.
The way the country came together after it happened, that was a beautiful. And I hope we get back to that.
One man says he was in third grade at the time of the attacks, but makes it a point to walk around the memorial every anniversary. A convicted killer remains on the loose after escaping in Pennsylvania. Authorities say 34-year-old Danilo Cavalcante was spotted over the weekend in northern Chester County, west of Philadelphia, meaning he somehow slipped through a search zone previously established by law enforcement. George Solis with more.
We did a very good job. I'm not going to make an excuse to you. I wish it had not happened.
Authorities sharing new photos of Cavalcante from a doorbell security camera.
Cavalcante is now clean-shaven and wearing a bright green hooded sweatshirt.
According to Pennsylvania State Police, Cavalcante stole a 2024 transit van from a local dairy farm Saturday evening and abandoned the vehicle in a field nearly 40 minutes from the original search perimeter.
Cavalcante escaped the prison on August 31st, just days after he was given a life sentence for killing his former girlfriend. You're listening to the latest on NBC News Radio.
Single-family houses and apartments are the key to passive income, a.k.a. retirement. No one knows this better than America's most successful investor, educator, self-made multimillionaire, and CEO of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley. Meet Del's team live in Mountain View, 2 days only at the Hyatt Centric Mountain View, Saturday and Sunday, October 21st and 22nd. To attend, register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential. Register today at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
Labor unions built the middle class, and the middle class built America. That's the message from Teamsters Local 1932, a strong and successful labor union based in San Bernardino that represents over 14,000 hardworking people across the Inland Empire. The Teamsters are ready to help you organize for better pay, increased benefits, and improved working conditions. Reach out to Teamsters 1932 at teamsters1932.org/organize to speak with an organizer today.
This segment is sponsored by PressPrint, Southern California's best full-service union printer and mail house. They offer the lowest prices around with unmatched service and reliability and free delivery throughout SoCal. PressPrint can print anything from letterhead, business cards, and campaign literature to mailers of any size, lawn signs, banners, door hangers, or just about anything you might want. PressPrint promises to save money for you, your business, or your campaign. If you'd like to learn more, contact Mike Kroonbrin at PressPrint 714-399-8708. Get the union bug.
One of the best ways to build a healthier local economy is by shopping locally. Teamster Advantage is a shop local program started by Teamster Local 1932 that has brought together hundreds of locally owned businesses to provide discounts for residents who make shopping locally their priority. Everything from restaurants like Corky's to fun times at SB Raceway and much, much more. If you're not currently a Teamster and you want access to these local business discounts, contact Jennifer at 909-889-8377, extension 224. Give her a call. That number again is 909-889-8377, extension 224.
This segment sponsored by the all-new Rams Market, Rams Express Car Wash, and the Rams Ultimate One-Stop Shop at 2090 Mentone Boulevard on the corner of Crafton Hills Avenue, just across from Jacinto Farms. Rams is now open, all new, well-stocked, bringing fresh and sharp convenience to Mentone with their clean, safe chemicals that leave your car all shiny and protected. When you buy gas inside the One-Stop Shop, you'll get savings on your car wash, make life easy, and sweeten it all with Rams. You can save with the Dinosaur and their top-tier Sinclair fuel. Rams has great car wash membership deals, and you can save on gas when you wash your car. Satisfy your appetite when you drop in the One-Stop Shop convenience store. Smell the chicken. Delectable, mouth-watering, crispy, crunchy fried chicken, that is. Rams is now open at 2090 Mentone Boulevard in Mentone. Thank you to Rams for their community spirit and sponsoring this radio station. Rams in Mentone is waiting for you.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on CNBC News, NBC News, and NBC Sports Radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Spreaker, and more. Monday. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad you could make it. Today it is Mental Health Monday, where I give you some happy 88 tips on how to be happier than you currently are. And I'm going to be answering some of the questions that I get in my happiness coaching practice. So please stay here, where I am going to splatter you with more hope and happiness, which is what the show's about for the past 593 consecutive weeks. Over 11 and a half years. This is show number 1016. And I'm so glad that I am still here, that you are still here supporting. Thanks to my new sound engineer, not new anymore, Frank, for supporting this show, and all the guys at the KCAA home. Let's see. Frank, maybe you can keep me on task. I want to express some gratitude this morning. We're starting off with take a bite of my gratitude sandwich, my morning blissipline. And I thought for gratitude this morning, I would list all 8, I think there are 8 guys that support me at KCAA. We'll start at the top. Fred Lundgren, the owner and operator of KCAA. He's out of Texas. And then 2, his wife, Linda, because behind every great guy is an even greater woman. And then his son, who operates lots of the stuff out there, Mike. And then Mark Westwood, who is my station manager. And then 5, my sound engineer, Frank. And then Joe in the back and Miguel in the back. And who am I missing? That's 7. Joe, I know there's at least one more. So I'll let you put that in the chat for me, Frank. My last gratitude is for the incredible guys at the Amtrak station that I'm going to tell you a funny story about that. After we finish the gratitude sandwich, I'm going to keep you on task here. That's the top of the bun. If you start every day with 8 specific things that you're grateful for, people, places, and things, and then at the end of the day, when you're about to go to sleep, have 8 things that you appreciate about yourself, you're more apt to have an incredible day. So this is what I like you to do before you go to bed, is highlight some of the things that you know you like about yourself. And why is this important, especially on Mental Health Monday? I really believe that when people are not, they're not kind to themselves, they don't like themselves, they have a little bit of self-hatred going or self-loathing, which actually happens more often than not. People hide it. That's why there's a thing called the imposter syndrome, where you look like you got it all together, but in the back of your head, you've got voices that tell you you're not all that and you're not good enough, and all of that BS belief system that keeps you from being happy. That's when mental health goes down the drain. So what I want you to do is think of 8 specific things that you like about yourself. And Frank, you can play along this morning. Since I don't have a guest in the studio, usually don't on Mondays. That's where you get to stream with me. If you are driving, don't do this. But when you've landed, then go to my YouTube channel, free subscribe, and you can chat along as well. I should be on my YouTube and LinkedIn channel as well, so that you can put what you like about yourself. Now, when you don't have this solid base, you're more likely to be reactive or looking for love in all the wrong places and walking around life with antenna, looking for people who like you. And with social media, that becomes a literal expression, who likes me. So instead, what do you like about yourself? So give you a second to breathe in and think about it. In through the nose, out through your mouth, thinking about compliments you've gotten that you maybe don't believe. But today, I'm hoping is the first day that you begin to take ownership of how you feel about yourself, instead of always asking for other people to approve of you. Because if you can't approve of yourself, how the fork do you expect other people to approve of you? So, what do you like about yourself? I appreciate that I every morning put my life jacket on with the silver lining. I appreciate that I love to help. I appreciate that I love to laugh. I appreciate that I love to cook for loved ones. I appreciate, oh, someone just gave me a heart. Thank you so much for that. If you'd like to be thanked in person, put your name in the chat. I appreciate that I bounce back pretty quickly. And I'll tell you the story that illustrates that one. I appreciate that I attract really kind, helpful people. And 7, I appreciate that I am willing to let people help me. There was a day when I could do that. I got it. Oh, I forgot Eric. So thank you, Eric. You're my last gratitude. I knew there was somebody there. And then I appreciate, we've got Jean-Baptiste Nibizi from Africa here with me. He is in charge of the satellite area that you may remember, one of my most memorable guests on my show, even though it's hard to choose from 2016, Frederick, who got his arms cut off in the Rwandan genocide, opened Jesse's Place. Jessie, who's on the other side now, is a wonderful woman who teamed up and helped Frederick and now Jean-Baptiste over there to help people. So again, I appreciate my ability to attract cool people. And then finally, I appreciate my ability to learn, grow and expand. I love learning. And one of the silver linings of not having my phone is that when I went down to the gym this morning, I read. And it's been a while since I actually read from a book. Those of you who have smartphones, you pull everything up. And I was very happy to revisit my ability to read. So that's my gratitude sandwich for this morning. It's a blissipline that I hope you adopt. If you start your day taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich for the next 28 days, I promise you, you will have incredibly different days, because there's something about not starting your morning, especially now that I don't have my phone, scrolling, MS, I call it meaningless scrolling, and most of the news is negative. So that's why we start pretty much every show with taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. And now we're going to go to the topic for the day. But let me give us some validation. I'm talking about self-approval here. And that is applause for taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. If you've just tuned in, you're wondering what's going on in the studio today. It's Monday, and it's not rainy days and Mondays always get me. Instead, I replace the down with up. Hashtag UP, hashtag unlimited possibilities. That's what we're talking about all day, every day on this show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, especially my home central, which is my YouTube channel. Please go free subscribe, and then you can also get an alert every weekday morning where I go live at 9 a.m. every single day of the week. All right, so what I wanted to do, well, first I'm going to tell you a little story because I do practice what I teach. So one of the first questions that comes to me from my happiness coaching practice, people who come to me and ask, how can I be happier than I am right now? And that is, why do bad things happen to good people? Why do bad things happen? Tragedy, F-ups, think when shift happens. So I went to a benefit concert on, was it Saturday night? It was Saturday night. And those of you who have been following know that I am very supportive of an organization called Doors of Change. And that is, I'm just going to close down some windows. I see a signal that I'm not liking. I don't know what's going on your end, Frank. There we go. I really love Doors of Change because they take homeless youth off of the streets. So there was a concert. I went there. 3-time Grammy winner Ben Harper was the performer. There was an opener, and because I don't have my phone, I can't pull up her name, but she was a blues singer, fabulous. And then, of course, Justine, who's been on my show, did the keynote. That's the advertisement to Doors of Change. If you haven't already gone to the website, please do donate there or get some memorabilia. That's what they had there. It was really fun. This was my second VIP request to go down. So I thought anytime I have a gig in San Diego, I take the train because I love the train so much. And so went down, got great shots. You saw the post. And then usually I post about the event afterwards on my way back. Well, I wanted to make sure I did not miss the last train. And the last train was at 9:40. So I even left the concert early, which I wasn't happy about, but I didn't want to miss the last train. So I made sure the Uber driver got me plenty of time. I was 20 minutes early for the train. Spent some time talking to the, not the conductor, but the train station personnel, and then went down to the tracks, sat down, had my phone, started doing some work. And they said, one and only announcement for the northbound train going to Los Angeles, arriving in 5 minutes. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Still working on my phone. I hear the train coming in. It's coming on the other side. Now, there was another train that was coming on my side, but I really thought I was on the northbound side. I was on the southbound side. So I literally was on the wrong side of the tracks. I then freaked out. You can just picture I'm in my, runway VIP red carpet outfit flowing. I got a lot of love and compliments about that outfit. And I had nicely done some shopping at David Allen. Again, one of my show sponsors at his art collection had some kimonos. I had 2 bags. And I either left the phone on the bench or it fell out. I don't know which one it was, but I'm booking it. And you have to go in the elevator, go up over the ramp, and then down the elevator. I met another person who was about to miss the train as well. And the elevator wasn't coming fast enough. And I am freaking out full on. Oh my God. And then, we missed the train. As we got out of the elevator, the doors closed and the train starts going off. So I am in a pickle. And the guy who also missed the train said, "You want to just split an Uber to get up to Los Angeles?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, IJM, it's just money, and nobody's fault, my fault. I didn't do it on purpose, accidental, but I was still mad at myself." And so I went to get my phone to pull up Uber, and no phone. And now I'm really freaked out. And now I'm like, are you shirting me? Like, it's bad enough that I missed the stupid train. I mean, good train. But now I don't have my phone. So we both run to the station. I'm looking everywhere, retracing my steps. The station attendant, Jeff, says, "Well, there's a bus. There's one last bus up to LA." And I was in Anaheim Station. My car was there. And they said, "You can catch the bus. I'll refund the whatever." And I'm like, okay, but I have to find my phone, because if it drops somewhere, I need to get my phone. I can't leave my phone. So guess what? I retrace my step. By the time I get back in, the guy's gone on the bus. The bus is gone. No more buses. So now I'm really screwed. I have no phone, no way to get back up to Anaheim from Solano Beach. I have no idea where the phone is. And I have to give it to three guys. The Amtrak police guy named Jerry, and the Amtrak personnel at the station, Jeffrey Campbell, and Jeff Smith and Steve Campbell. I don't know Jerry's last name, but both of them tried to help me. Now I am full on like upset. You lose your phone, that's bad. You lose your ride back up to LA from Solano Beach, that's like really bad. So he said, "Is there someone you can call?" And I'm like, my daughter, maybe they can figure out where the phone is with the Find My iPhone thing. So what's her number? Well, folks, I don't know about you, but I have lost my phone is so smart that I have gotten lazy about memorizing numbers. So I don't even know what the number is. I sort of know the number, and I'm upset. So I can't remember it took 5 tries on his phone to call my daughter, my older daughter, and she's suspicious. So she doesn't answer from a number she doesn't know. So then I had to go through the whole thing with my younger daughter's number. She answers the phone, thank goodness. So she doesn't really know how to do the Find My Phone stuff like my older one. So she has to get a hold of my older one. They look to see where the phone is. And I'll never forget, they screenshotted it and sent it to one of the phones. And it's like making its way down to San Diego from Solano Beach in the opposite direction. So now it's like, great, someone stole the phone. So they took the phone from wherever they saw it, took it on the train, and it's gone. So now on top of missing the ride, losing my phone is stolen. And this is all in answer to one of the questions for Mental Health Monday is, why do bad things happen to good people? I'm not saying that I'm perfect at all, but I think in a category of good and bad, most people would put me in the good category. So what did I do to deserve all of this happening to me? I'm also a huge law of attraction. I keep my vibe high so that I attract good things and I attract good people. So why is this happening to me? And in that moment, one of the tools that I remember is, why is not a very useful question. Because at this point in time, if I'm going to be upset and begin to beat myself up and ask, I must have done something wrong. I must be attracting something wrong. What am I doing wrong? Why am I being punished? All of this ridiculous detritus in my head, that's not going to help. So when I start asking that question, why do bad things happen to good people? I have to stop asking that question, because shift happens to everyone. And the more I am adamant for looking for an answer, why do bad things happen to good people, the worse things are going to be. So I have to stop asking that question, because we don't really know why things happen as they happen. I do know, I choose to believe that no one is being punished, that karma, even though, yes, there is the law of reciprocity, what you give out will come back to you. That's a law. It's a spiritual law, just like the law of attraction. Doesn't matter who you are. It's not a punishment. It's just cause and effect. So I do not, though, believe in a punishing God. I don't believe in karma in that, I did something in my past life that deserves me missing a train and getting my phone stolen. I just refuse to believe that. I choose to just manage my own emotion in the moment and ask myself, is this helping me or not? So being angry at myself is not helping. Being angry at whoever stole my phone is not helpful. I did the deed. I got on the wrong side of the tracks, literally. I lost my phone to get picked up. Not, I didn't do it on purpose, accidentally. So I forgive myself, and then I just go to solution. Here are 3 wonderful men. One of them was off and still let me use his phone. They're trying to help me. So calm your butt down, calm your assets down. I was telling my balance center self. So once I calmed myself down, I was able to remember the phone numbers, able to contact my daughters. I was like short with one of my daughters, had to apologize for that, and just tried to manage my freaked outness and my pissed offedness at myself. So what happened was, there was nothing I can do except my daughter ordered a very expensive Uber. Again, this is a tool that I use for when I'm paying for something that I really didn't want to pay for. It's from my alphabet soup. And if any of you want any of this information as far as my alphabet soup happy tips, go to drmarissa.life. You'll get a free tip sheet that you can, post in front of you so that you can have it handy. This tool is called IJM. So, do you ever get mad at money that you have to spend that you don't want to spend? Then use the Happy 88 tool called IJM, and it stands for It's Just Money. And I know that these days it's difficult to not feel bad about losing money, but it's already done. You have a choice to either accept it and say, I can't wait to see what good comes out of this, and I can't wait to see how my money energy is going to grow. Or you can continue to beat yourself up or get angry or blame someone, which doesn't feel good. Instead, you can choose, because you have the power of choice, to instead focus on the solution. So every day in every way, you have the choice to focus on what's wrong or focus on how can I make myself feel better. And as a result, you will feel better and you'll have a better day. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, every weekday morning on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, especially my YouTube channel, where if you free subscribe, you'll get a free alert every morning for more hope and happiness. That was my 30-second commercial, because I'm trying to do 3 things at the same time here, but I've been asked to do some sound bites for the station, and that's why that is there. But the Happy 88 tool is there for you. IJM, it's just money. And then the other one is, I can't wait to see what good comes out of this. Because when I asked that question, guess what? The station personnel, I think it was Stephen Campbell, he says to me, well, the coaster is not Amtrak. So where your phone is on that train, on the off chance that the person turns the phone in, we each looked at each other and went, yeah, right. Because it's got to be stolen. Why would someone pick up a phone and then get on the train and go? So where I'm like, okay, it is stolen. My daughter's telling me, change your passwords on everything. I'm on an Uber now up to Anaheim with on my daughter who ordered the Uber. So, I'm safe. I'm beginning to activate my own teaching. ICBW is another Happy 88 tool. It stands for It Could Be Worse. It could be worse. So that also helps me when I am upset and reacting to something bad that's happening. So when something bad happens, once I get out my emotion, so here's the thing that is another tip. How do you react when bad things happen to you? If you're someone who says, it's fine, I can't change it, I'll live with it, serenity now, like George Costanza's father said in the Seinfeld episode when he had a store with computers, and no matter what happened, he pretended like it was serenity now until at the end of the show, he was so pissed off, he took a bat and just smashed everything. So when you're upset, it's not useful to pretend you're not upset. It is my BS, my belief system, that it is more helpful for you to actually jump up and down, scream if you're in private and not going to upset someone or get fired from your job. But it is important to release that negative energy safely and as quickly as possible. Because once you release it, then you have the ability to create the space necessary to move to solution. As they say, it is not the same energy or space that created the problem that you're going to be able to have the solution be inspired to you. So it's important to release. I stomp up and down, on stairs, I bite my pillow, I do a silent scream so that I release the energy, and then I am able to get to that space to find a solution. And that's what I did. Got on the phone with my daughter and was able to order the Uber drive back to Anaheim. So then, miracle of miracles. So this is what happens, and I believe this is because I do practice what I teach. When I actually got home, and just in case, Steve had given me a little slip with the customer service number of the coaster, which is different than Amtrak, where the phone was tracked and making its way down to Santa Fe Depot in San Diego. And at that point, I thought, we're going to track it, call the police, and they say, well, I don't know if the police is going to follow the moving phone tracker. And so I just bite the bullet, buy a new phone. And then I had credit cards also in the folio. Learn something new, make sure all of that is inside the phone. And, make sure you tell the credit cards, cancel all the cards so that, people aren't going to mess with your stuff. So got ready to do that, came home, figured out how to find my phone from my own computer. And lo and behold, the phone stayed at the station. In fact, the phone stayed at the station the entire night. And I'm like, oh, maybe someone turned the phone in, which was like, I'm so lucky. I've lost my phone probably twice in the last 10 years. And both times someone turned the phone in, which is really, I am incredibly grateful. And I can't take credit, but some people have said that it's because I maintain and I practice what I teach most of the time, 88% of the times, that good things happen to me. Now, again, going back, we're doing happy tips today. If you've just tuned in, this is Mental Health Matters Monday, and I am using what happened to me on Saturday night where I missed the last train home, and then lost my phone on top of that and thought my phone was stolen as a good example of how to use happy tips in order to get yourself to the place where I am now, which is grateful. So it turns out that thank you for that. Someone just gave me the finger, which is this one, not the other one. So the phone stayed in the Find My app. It stayed at the station in San Diego, and I still laugh at the sight. It must have been me booking it from one side of the track to the other in high heels, dressed in a red carpet outfit that I did for the benefit. Oh my gosh, that must have been funny to watch. But the personnel at Amtrak were so kind and then gave me that sheet. I did call customer service. They were not open. The next morning, they opened at 7. My daughters were wonderful. I figured out I have iMessage on my computer, so you can still text, but I didn't know that. And that is also one of the best things that happens when bad things happen. So when bad things happen, when tragedy strikes, this was not a tragedy. This was just a poop happens kind of thing. Lose your phone, miss a train. Those are just really quality problems. So, but it's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to grow, and it's an opportunity to appreciate people who come to your assistance. So these 3 Amtrak personnel, Jeff, Steve, and Jerry, and I have a hard time remembering names, but because they were so kind, I have 3 new life friends who lent me their phones, got me sorted. And Jerry actually did me, if I'm getting ahead of myself. So I called the next morning and Ray said, unfortunately, I can't tell if your phone is there because wherever it is right now, it goes to 2-day process to get the phone to me so that I can call you to tell you that your phone is found. So I'm like, okay, but I'm going to take it as a good sign that the tracker still says that the phone is at the Santa Fe station. So I am happy to wait for a change. And then I get a phone call, or I get a text from my daughter yesterday saying, I just got a phone call from Jeff at the station telling me that, yes, my phone is there. They have recovered it. And Jerry expedited the process. So guess who's going to pick up their phone right after the show today? So this is a long answer. Hopefully you were entertained by the actual story because it is kind of funny that I how do you miss a train and lose your phone in the same night, and see your phone being taken from you down to the opposite direction on the station? Don't know. I definitely do lead an interesting life, but hopefully through that process you have heard some tools to use in order to not lose your 88% happiness, because it's tantamount for me to be able to, I can tell you to choose happiness all I want, but it's a practical thing. There are practices. It's a discipline to stay happy. It's not by accident that I am happy 88% of the time. And that's what this platform is for. And it's also a platform for me to give away things. So I'm giving you a couple things away today. First is an audiobook copy of my book, 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are. And I'm going to show you exactly how to get that audiobook. It's a free $20 value. All you need to do is go to my website, which is drmarissa.life. Going to pull it up here so that you can see and join my Happy 88 Mamily. Mamily is the single mom version of family. Just put your email in here, and anything that comes in from now till tomorrow, I'll know you are responding to the free audiobook copy, and you will get that sent to you on the email. So that's the thing that I'm going to do. Or you can just go down to the bottom of the first page and fill in here and put your name, your email, subject matter. You can say mental health matters. Okay, that's the keyword for today, and you will get that. Now, I'm also giving away tickets to a show that is happening this Saturday, is it? Or let me check. One of my show sponsors, you all know, is the beautiful Saban Theater. And there's this really interesting, wonderful guy that is going to be performing at the Saban Theater. And some of you know it who watch. Let's see. He's been on, let's see. He's got greatest hits. He's a Broadway television superstar, baddest beach alive. His name is Todrick Hall. He returns to the stage in his 9th most eclectic tour to date. And I've been given permission to give away 8 pairs of tickets, which is pretty amazing. And this is for the Saban Theater. He's been a Broadway star, successful runs in Chicago, The Color Purple, Kinky Boots, Memphis, and Waitress. He composed Magic Happens Parade at Disneyland, and he sold out tours all over the world, Straight Out of Oz, Forbidden, House Party, Femulan, and won the 2019 Video for Good VMA as co-executive producer of Taylor Swift's LGBTQ plus anthem, You Need to Calm Down. So 8 tickets, 8 pairs of tickets. This is this Saturday, I believe, September 13th. I have so, oh no, wait, September 13th, is that tomorrow? That's tomorrow. Boy, it's a good thing I'm giving this away today. For some reason, I thought it was tomorrow, but this is actually Wednesday, tomorrow at 6 p.m. And I do believe I will be going. So free tickets, pair of tickets to go and watch this great. If you haven't seen Kinky Boots, that's an excellent. He was in Kinky Boots, so I'm definitely going. I think I thought it was Saturday and I couldn't go, but I can go tomorrow. So I hope to see you there. So all the people who go to my drmarissa.life, you can choose. You can have both my audiobook for 8 Ways to Happiness or tickets to Todrick Hall, Velvet Rage at the Saban Theater for tomorrow at 8 p.m. I'm going to see you there. All right, so that is 2 Asian Oprah giveaways today, which is not a record, but I'm hoping that you get an audiobook and you get a ticket to go tomorrow to Todrick Hall. All right, if you've just tuned in and you're wondering what's going on in studio today, it is Monday, and I am Dr. Marissa. On Take My Advice, I'm not using a Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, the station that leaves no listener behind. All right. Another Happy 88 tool. What did I promise you? We just finished the first question of, I think, 15. I was on a roll. Well, we'll have the list to go through for Mental Health Mondays from now until the next 5 years. How can I stop being so critical? That's a really, really common question. It seems like I've only met one person who does not have that critical voice in her head or his head. It seems like every single person I have ever asked, do you have a voice in your head that says you shouldn't have done this, you should have done this, you shouldn't have done that? So if you have that critical voice, I want you to nod your head, even though I can't see you. And I would take a guess that most of you are nodding your heads. Frank, you can chime in if you'd like. Do you have a critical voice in your head? It seems to be something that happens no matter if you've had a difficult childhood or not. People have critical voices. And so, what do you do when you have a critical voice in your head? Look at me. 2 words. Stop it. Well, sometimes it's not that easy. I have an exercise in my 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are that you're welcome to look at. It's called the insulting game. And part of the insulting game is realizing that the voice in your head is really not who you really are. The critic in your head is a part of you, yes, and you don't want to kill it, yes, no, but you to be aware and acknowledge is the first step that you have this critical voice, and then acknowledge that it's not you. And when you can do that, then you can begin to talk to that voice and say, thank you very much. That's not always true. I know you're trying to protect me, but you're not helping me. So sit down, take a break, go on a vacation. You've been yelling at me for my whole life, but I got this. That's the balance-centered person that you really are, soothing away that critical voice. You don't want to kill it because it has been a coping mechanism. It is helpful. It stopped you from having burnt hands on stoves or getting run over by a car while you're crossing the street. But a lot of us unnecessarily criticize ourselves so much that it helps us get into a thing called procrastination. Because when you're trying to be perfect, the critic is winning. And when the critic is winning, you don't get inspired thought and you don't get anything done. I've always wanted to be a procrastinator, but I never got around to it. Wait, do I have sound effects on this? Frank says most definitely has that critical voice. Good. That means you're not alone. You're human. I thought I uploaded. Let's see if I really did upload some sound effects. I guess I didn't. Bummer. I could have sworn I did. Oh well, we'll have to do that for the show. But okay, so that is one way to stop the critical voices is work on your balance-centered self. If you'd like to do that with me, it's not a long process. Some people do it in 2 or 3 sessions, especially if you haven't had childhood trauma and it's just a matter of correcting a habit that you have, and you do have to work on it. It's like a muscle that you can stop criticizing yourself. So that's part of happiness coaching. Just go to drmarissa.live or book some time with me just to chat and see if it's something that you want to do. Because there's so many ways in which to get more happy. I'm just one happiness coach. There's so many. If you have other ways, good. I am definitely not one of those consultants or coaches who tell you that I'm the only way to happiness or my way is the best way. There's so many different people on the planet who have so many different ways in which to improve or be happier, that anybody that tells you they have the monopoly or the only answer, I would take it with a grain of salt. I am always here for anyone. My specialty is people who've had childhood trauma, because it is a little different animal, and I think that every single person who's gone through anything is the expert in the ability to help someone else through that. Just saying. All right. Where was I? Another question that gets asked to me in my happiness coaching: am I really good enough? Do you have a voice that sometimes says to you, you're not all that, you're not good enough, you don't deserve to have good in your life, you don't deserve to have money, you don't deserve to have things, you don't deserve to have a good relationship, you don't deserve to be successful? That is bull shiitake. And yes, many of us who have that particular theme song in our heads is because somebody actually was mean enough to tell us that. And again, the critic is often a compilation of someone who told you those things. They did the best that they could. They were probably told that themselves. Hurt people, all of that. But the solution is not to blame that person or make them apologize or explain it away, because not my not my problem. My problem, my opportunity is not them, it's me. How can I, because I can't change what happened and I can't make them apologize. And even if they did apologize, I wouldn't believe them anyways. How can I take ownership, be the boss of me, and grow the truth or believe the truth that I am good enough? Because I'm here to tell you, if you're listening to me right now and you don't think you're good enough, you have adopted a defense mechanism and a coping mechanism that is not working for you. Because if you're going to continue to choose to believe that you're less than, that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy, then you have a habit that isn't working for you. Because the truth is, every single one of the how many billion people we are now is uniquely one of a kind wonderful. That is the truth. I know that truth. I will hold that truth for you until you can hold it for yourself. Please, please, please do not believe that message that it might be in your head, because it's wrong. It is not helping you at all. It doesn't serve you. Some people will say, oh, well, I need to keep myself humble. Bull shiitake. There's enough, imperfection and times like what happened to me Saturday, proof that I am not the brightest crayon on the box sometimes. I am not the sharpest tool in the shed. Otherwise, I would not have gotten on the wrong side of the tracks or lost my phone in the process. But I don't regret what happened at all. One, I know that it has nothing to do with my worthiness. I know that I'm just a human being, and 88% of the time I'm fabulous, and 12% of the time I'm stepping it or absent-minded or whatever the reason is. I'm not being punished, but I am giving myself the break to know that I'm okay. No matter what happens to me, I'm okay. And not only am I okay, I'm pretty good. And in fact, I am of value. I am one of a kind, wonderful. I am loved, loving, and loved. I have esteem. I have esteem through esteemable acts. I didn't blame anyone. I didn't, all the things that have happened to me, difficult, expensive divorce, bad things were done to me. When I was a kid, bad things were done to me, but I wouldn't change it for the world, because it had nothing to do with me being not worthy enough. It had everything to do with me being worthy enough of being chiseled into this one-of-a-kind wonderful, so that I can do what I do. I love my work. I love being able to come at you like this. I love being known for hope and happiness. I love being able to go on down on a train. I love being able to meet people and highlight. I'm writing a letter to Amtrak to commend these three guys that helped me. I am so, I wouldn't have met them. I wouldn't have understood how valuable my phone is. I got lost yesterday because I didn't have the navigator. I need to understand too that backup plans are good. Also, I got, chiseled to be more resourceful. What I can do without a phone. I started reading again this morning. So all of these things stem from, I can't wait to see what good comes out of this. So when bad things happen to you, ask that question, and then you'll be able to begin to see all that is good, all that is available, all that is. I have never appreciated my smartphone and the comfort and ease that it offers me in life. Little things like I don't know what time it is, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do, because until I figured out the calendars on my computer, I rely on that, and it's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people are like, well, people rely too much on their phones. And it's like, well, if you have a smartphone and it can do a lot of great things, why not? I know that might be an unpopular statement, but I'm going to make it anyways. All right. Do we have time for one more question that I said I was going to address? Let's see. How can I stop being worried all the time? Worry is a prayer for bad things to happen. That's a Native American expression. I believe it is true because it has to do with attracting that same energy. If you're worried about something, you're going to worry about it more. And the more you worry about it, you're going to see things that support your worry. So 2 words again, stop it. I hope you've enjoyed all of these Happy 88 tools. I do love Mental Health Mondays because this is my area of expertise. I am an organizational psychologist, not a clinical, so I will do the disclaimer. These are all things that came out of my book, 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are, which is a national bestseller. Thank you to Denver Post, also #1 on Amazon. You get a free audiobook copy if you go to drmarissa.life, as well as free tickets to the Todrick Hall show tomorrow at the Saban Theater. Thank you so much for joining me today. Tomorrow, I have a wonderful guest. Her name is Tabitha, I believe Tabitha Hall. She will be talking about the writer's strike, Emmys, all of that. She is on the board. Another wonderful person brought by Harlan, my favorite publicist that we got to party with at Doors of Change. Got to see Anson Williams. When I get the phone back, you'll see the footage from that. And I just love Anson, and he is just a wonderful guy. I got to meet his wife, and they are going to come on the show as well to talk about how they bonded during COVID. I am so fortunate to have all of you here. Please remember that it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live, reminding you to have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Taylor. Families who lost loved ones on 9/11 are now gathering at the World Trade Center Memorial in Manhattan. During the ceremony, names of the nearly 3,000 victims killed are being read out loud, along with tolling of bells and moments of silence. For the first time this year, there will be a tribute at the Memorial Glade after the ceremony to recognize people who have died from and are still experiencing illnesses tied to the aftermath of the attacks. The Glade is a dedicated space within the National September 11 Memorial Plaza that memorializes the sacrifices made by first responders. 22 years later, several families of the thousands of people who died in the attacks never miss a memorial service.
Following that day, the incredible sense of patriotism, that's the thing I miss the most. The America 9/12, as they say.
The way the country came together after it happened, that was a beautiful. And I hope we get back to that.
One man says he was in third grade at the time of the attacks, but makes it a point to walk around the memorial every anniversary. The convicted killer remains on the loose after escaping in Pennsylvania. Authorities say 34-year-old Danilo Cavalcante was spotted over the weekend in northern Chester County, west of Philadelphia, meaning he somehow slipped through a search zone previously established by law enforcement. George Solis with more.
We did a very good job. I'm not going to make an excuse to you. I wish it had not happened.
Authorities sharing new photos of Cavalcante from a doorbell security camera.
Cavalcante is now clean-shaven and wearing a bright green hooded sweatshirt.
According to Pennsylvania State Police, Cavalcante stole a 2024 transit van from a local dairy farm Saturday evening and abandoned the vehicle in a field nearly 40 minutes from the original search perimeter.
Cavalcante escaped the prison on August 31st, just days after he was given a life sentence for killing his former girlfriend. You're listening to the latest on NBC News Radio.
For over a century, AM radio has evolved to meet the needs of our community. More than 80 million listeners depend on AM radio each month. It's also the backbone of the emergency alert system, keeping us safe in dangerous times. A new bill in Congress would ensure this free, reliable service remains in cars. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to support the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Are you underpaid and overworked? Is a living wage and employee benefits like affordable health care more of a dream than a reality for you and your family? If so, it's time to form a union. Don't be denied the wages and benefits you deserve. Come together in a union with the power of numbers. A union is not a privilege, it's your right, and it will make a difference. Contact Teamsters Local 1932, a powerful and successful labor union in San Bernardino, by visiting Teamsters1932.org/organize to start today.
Dutch Bakery and Variety Foods in Ontario is reminding everyone to please give blood. By doing so, you may save the life of a child, surgery patient, or an accident victim. So give blood. It's safe, it's simple, and it's needed. This message courtesy of your friends at Dutch Bakery and Variety Foods in Ontario. For a great selection of imported food from Holland and Indonesia and knowledgeable, friendly service, visit 1051 West Philadelphia Street in Ontario or call 909-983-6022. They're on the air because they care.
The Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands is home to some of the best bargain shopping in the region. Citywear, Style for Less, and Dollar Tree, to name just a few. Friendly shop owners and staff are waiting for you to stop in for the many specials and bargains they're excited to share. The Tri-City Shopping Center is located just off I-10 between Alabama and the Tennessee exits in Redlands. Make it your home for all your shopping needs, and you'll know why the Tri-City Center is called the Mall with a Heart.
Single-family houses and apartments are the key to passive income, a.k.a. retirement. No one knows this better than America's most successful investor, educator, self-made multimillionaire, and CEO of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley. Meet Del's team live in Mountain View. 2 days only at the Hyatt Centric Mountain View. Saturday and Sunday, October 21st and 22nd. To attend, register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential. Register today at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau de Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. As a result, it naturally has antifungal, anti-infection, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can be truly miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. tea. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TaheeboTeaClub.com. Taheebo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TaheeboTeaClub.com or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TaheeboTeaClub.com.
You're listening to the Taheebo Tea Club radio show, hosted by Milan Vukovic, founder of the Taheebo Tea Club.
Welcome to the Taheebo Tea Club radio hour. My name is Milan Vukovic. I'm the founder of the Taheebo Tea Club. Without my father, John Vukovic, there would be no Taheebo Tea Club. My father was diagnosed with colon cancer that had spread to the pancreas in 1998 at the age of 86. He started receiving treatment at the Houston Medical Center, which is the biggest medical center in the world, bigger than Boston. Because the size of the tumor on my father's pancreas was the size of a half a brick, I was told that there wasn't anything they could do for my father, and that I needed to put my father's affairs in order since he had about 2 months to live. So, of course, I started planning a funeral. I called our friends and family and told them how grave the situation was, and told them that if they wanted to see Dad, they only had a couple of months, and they might want to do so now. One of the families that came to pay their last respects to my father came and brought Taheebo tea with them. They said Taheebo tea cured their brother from cancer. I looked at them incredulous, as if they were Martians or something. I mean, my dad was getting treated at the Houston Medical Center, and no one was saying anything other than to plan a funeral, and these people were telling me that the tea's going to cure my dad? But of course, I was polite to the people since they came to pay their respects. In any event, after they left, I cooked up the tea, and my father figured if he had 2 months to live, what's the difference if he's drinking the tea or water? He has to drink something anyway. So he's drinking the tea, and 2 months later, when they put him on a CAT scan machine, they thought their CAT scan machine was broken because they couldn't find a tumor on his pancreas that used to be the size of a half a brick. So they said to my father, you know, the hospital right next door here at the medical center also has a CAT scan machine. Since you already drank the contrast dye, we'll phone them and you can walk over and they'll take a picture so you don't have to come back and do it all over again next week when we get a machine fixed. So my father walked next door, they took a picture, they couldn't find any cancer either. My father is now 86 years old. He's been cancer-free for over 20 years. And not only is he cancer-free, he's in such good health, he takes care of my garden and even mows my lawn. I mean, I'd be embarrassed about it if he didn't enjoy doing it, and I know it's good for him. Our customers always get a kick out of it when they ask me how my dad's doing, and I tell them as long as he's mowing my lawn, he must be doing pretty good. The tea's certainly been a blessing in my family's life, and God willing, our tea will have the same benefits for you, your family and friends, as it has for mine and so many others. Not a week goes by that someone doesn't call in with a truly miraculous recovery. Bone cancer, brain cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, mesothelioma, leukemia, diabetes, you name it. And not a day goes by that someone doesn't call in with some type of a success, whether it's just beating toenail fungus. Well, toenail fungus may not be imminently life-threatening, but if you have it, you don't like it. The Taheebo tree is an amazing tree. It never gets sick, never gets infected, and never gets infested. As a result, the highest potency Taheebo comes from the inner bark of the tree, where the arterial and vein system, called the xylem and the phloem, in the tree reside, which brings nutrients to the rest of the tree. And that's why we only harvest mature trees over 40 years old in the rainforest of Brazil. The harvest method we use is to semi-strip some outer bark to get to the inner bark without cutting down the tree and allowing the tree to heal itself so they can be harvested again. It's also the only tree in the world the fungus doesn't grow on. So as a result, it naturally has antifungal, anti-infection, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. These benefits go a long way to helping our immune system contend with a lot of things it normally has to contend with on a daily basis. Parasites would be something like stomach problems. Inflammation would be something like rheumatoid arthritis. Infection would be any infection from a tooth infection to a bladder infection. Viral would be something like herpes. Bacteria would be something like gum disease or stomach bacteria. And fungus would be something like toenail fungus or candida. But maybe more importantly, what the tea does is build the red corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. Our immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer happens to die on oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps regenerate new cells. Everything from the cells in our skin so we look better, to the cells in our organs so they function properly, and it can truly be miraculous for somebody fighting a potentially life-threatening disease such as diabetes or cancer. In future programs, we'll discuss Tahibo tea versus AIDS, anemia, arthritis, asthma, bronchitis, other types of cancers, colitis, diabetes, diverticulitis, eczema, fungus, gastritis, gonorrhea, gout, HIV, impotence, infections, leukemia, lupus, Parkinson's, prostatitis, pyorrhea, rheumatism, ringworm, ulcers, virus, and yeast infections. One time a customer asked me, he said, boy, it sounds like the tea helps with everything. It does really help with a lot of different things, but for some things, for example, with the bones, calcium helps with the bones. The Tahibo helps with a lot of different things, but you need some other things also for a healthy diet. I'd like to talk a little about the proper preparation directions for Tahibo tea to be effective. Even though we call it tea, what you're actually preparing when you make it properly is a decoction. A decoction is just a fancy word for what our forefathers used to make when they used to take a root and cook it in order to release its beneficial properties. It's easy, but you don't steep it in hot water like regular leaf tea, but rather cook it like spaghetti. I'll tell you how easy it is to make just so you don't think you'll need a degree in physics, but you don't have to remember any of this because the directions, of course, are on the packages as well as in the literature you automatically receive with your order. You take a pot of water, bring it to a boil. Once the water is boiling, you toss in a tablespoon of tea for every 2 cups of boiling water. Cook it on high for 5 minutes, reduce the heat, and cook on simmer for an additional 15 minutes.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea helps build red corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com, or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. As a result, it naturally has antifungal, anti-infection, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com, or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com.
Welcome back to the Tahibo Tea Club radio show. Now, this next segment is a segment with live listener call-ins from previous shows, and you'll be hearing their questions, their successes, and their experiences with Tahibo tea. So please do give us a call and let us know how the tea works for you. Thank you.
Howdy, I'm interested in trying out the tea. Sounds pretty interesting. Keep hearing the commercials about it.
Oh, absolutely. 1 pound package of tea will make you a lot of tea. It'll make you 300 8-ounce cups or glasses of tea. So even if you drink it like water, 8 glasses a day, it will still literally last you 5 weeks. Now, in terms of the dosage, I get the question quite a bit, how much tea should I drink? The more the better. But at a minimum, a person wants to drink it regularly, meaning 2-3 glasses a day, which is great for a stewardess who doesn't want to catch a cold but once every 5 or 10 years. On the other hand, if you're trying to get rid of something, let's say you're trying to get rid of an infection or diabetes or something life-threatening like cancer, well, you need to get rid of it before it gets rid of you. So it's a race. At that point, you do need to drink 8 glasses a day or more. One time I got a call from a man in Phoenix, and he says to me, he says, I don't know if you remember speaking to me 4 months ago. He says, but I had prostate cancer that was aggressively metastasizing through my whole body, my bones, everywhere. And you told me to drink a minimum of 8 glasses a day or as much as I could humanly stand. So I literally took that to heart. Now drinking a gallon a day, which is 16 glasses a day. I was drinking so much of your tea that sometimes I was drinking and having to go pee at the same time. But I'll tell you what, in 4 months, I don't have cancer anymore. Now, is there any particular concern that you're looking to address with the tea, or are you just looking to drink the tea for health maintenance?
Yeah, so I'm looking for just more or less just general health. And
you're not getting any younger is what you're telling me.
You got it right.
Well, the tea does all of that. The tea builds the red corpuscles in the blood, which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. And our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves, while the immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer happens to die on oxygen. So you don't have to be fighting a life-threatening disease in order to drink the tea. As a matter of fact, in our system, we don't keep track of people's credit cards or debit cards for security purposes. The only thing we keep track of is their name and address, because we want to make certain that they get the tea, and then the tracking number that's associated with the shipping. Other than that, we don't keep any other information. So when people do want to reorder, they have to call us and say, I want to buy a pound or 4 pounds or 8 pounds or whatever they want to buy. And this one lady from San Diego calls in, and I happen to be answering the phone, and I look her up, and I noticed she'd been a customer like 6-7 years, right? And I said to her, can you tell me the primary reason that you're drinking the tea? She says, yes. She says, with every order, you automatically include informational literature, and in those booklets that you automatically include, when you open it up, where a staple page is like a sandwich, she says, you got about 30 things listed that the tea is good against. And I go, yeah. She said, I don't want to get any of those. I'm 79 years old. I look like I'm 60. I don't take one pill, and that's why I want to keep it. And I go, well, good for you. God bless you, So our tea, and you'll certainly see the tea working. Like in 2 to 3 days, you're going to start feeling a wellness that you haven't felt before. It's kind of like if all of a sudden you started working out or something like that, except without the pain. When you start to work out, you get the pain. With our tea, you don't get the pain. You just get the beneficial properties of it. So we have a lot of famous athletes that drink our tea because they want faster muscle recovery. A lot of famous movie stars that drink it. A lot of famous singers that drink it. And there's nothing wrong with them. They're in radical shape. They just, want to make sure their skin looks good, that, they don't get sick and all that kind of good stuff. And then, of course, we have a lot of people that drink it because they have serious health ailments. And, they drink it because they want to get better. And oftentimes conventional medicine has not helped them. So, that's why they drink it. Now, is there anything else on your mind or any other concerns that you have?
I think the benefits list sounds pretty awesome. To not build up lactic acid, it must have some amino acids or something in it, long-chain amino acids.
Yeah,
that help with recovery?
Yeah, it's got 20 active elements in it that work synergistically. And that's actually a problem for the pharmaceutical companies because they'd have made a drug out of it already because this tea's been around for over 1,000 years. It's not like it's brand new. They'd have made a drug out of it, but their problem is when they isolate the elements, they don't work properly like they do when they work synergistically. And, of course, with our tea, 1 pound making 300 cups, it costs like 16 cents a glass to make. Well, a pharmaceutical company is not going to make something that costs 16 cents a dose. I mean, if anything, they're going to make something that costs $1,600 a dose. Not only that, I mean, these days it's ridiculous. The chemo treatments start at $30,000 and then go upwards of $100,000. It's just absolutely insane. So a lot of times people ask me, well, why don't the pharmaceutical companies use it? I go, seriously? They already got a gold mine. They're pushing chemo on everybody at, $100,000 a trip. They're not going to be able to sell tea for $100,000 a treatment. So that's why. So yeah, it's got a lot of beneficial properties. And what's funny is that people oftentimes will buy the tea for one particular concern that they have, whether they have rheumatoid arthritis or they have an infection or whatever it is that they have. And then they'll call me back and go, oh my God, it also cleared up my toenail fungus. I can't believe it did that. And, then we have to tell them, well, of course, our tea comes from the only tree in the world fungus doesn't grow on. So, of course, it's going to clear up your toenail fungus. That's like the first thing it's going to do. They go, oh my God, I've had it for 15 years, and this is the first time my toes look good. Now my toes are the only beautiful thing on my body. And I go, okay, well, great, And so, yeah, so you're absolutely right. I mean, it helps with a lot of different things. And then please stay in touch and give us a call back because the only way we can help more people is to hear back from your experience.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau de Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. As a result, it naturally has antifungal, anti-infection, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1 pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau de Arco Super Tea helps build red corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1 pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com.
Yeah, sounds good, buddy. One thing that came to mind was that you said that pharmaceuticals had a difficult time isolating. I've seen that type of thing before. Like, sometimes I have chronic fatigue or something, and like a shot of espresso does work. It works really well because it's like the caffeine plus the supporting compounds that are in the coffee. Whereas just like isolated caffeine pills, or even like chelated caffeine pills to drag out the caffeine, make it last longer, it doesn't work like just a shot of espresso. So the supporting compounds that you would get from the tea, it would be probably highly beneficial and make it actually work, whereas isolated compounds don't have what they need.
No, you're exactly correct. And not only that, you just reminded me, a couple of weeks ago, I was watching the European qualifiers for soccer, and they were playing. Italy was playing a game, and you won't believe this. They had an espresso machine on their bench, and I'm thinking, oh wow, that's really fantastic. You know what I mean? So like at during the breaks or at halftime or whatever, you can just have an espresso if you play for the Italian team. I go, good for them.
It's amazing smart. How well it works. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking myself, pretty smart. I mean, these people are drinking, Gatorade or water or whatever they're drinking, and these guys got shots of espresso. Whoa, man! I want to play for the Italian team. Well, very good. Well, thank you so much for calling in.
Sounds great, man. Will do. I'll keep in touch.
All right. Our tea is absolutely fantastic against infections of all types, from tooth infections to bladder infections. With infections, for example, a tooth infection you can get rid of faster than you can with penicillin. You can get rid of a tooth infection in a week to 10 days. Let's say your mouth is throbbing like you see in the cartoons. You take a drink of the tea, hold it in your mouth for about 2 minutes, and the pain will immediately go away. You can't even get rid of the pain that quickly with a Vicodin. Now, if you stop drinking the tea at that point, you haven't knocked out enough bacteria, so the pain will come back in about 30 minutes. If you take about 1 glass an hour for about 4 hours, you'll completely get rid of the pain, but you still haven't knocked out enough bacteria. So if at that point you stop drinking, the pain will come back in about 3 days. So you need to continuously drink the tea for at least 1 week in order to get rid of the pain that's associated with the bacteria, and get rid of the bacteria, just like when you go to a dentist and they say, here's the penicillin, take 2 a day. Even though you'll feel great in a day, you have to drink it for 10 days or so in order to completely knock out the bacteria. Good morning, listener. You're live on the air with Milan Vukovic. Go ahead, please.
Good day. I got some Tahibo tea about, I want to say 3-4 months ago, and I bought 4 pounds of it, kind of a lot for an experiment.
Yep.
But I have a friend that was having he's had some chronic, like joint pain and just physical stuff. She walks with a cane, doesn't stand well and everything.
Right.
So, wanted to introduce her to the tea, but, obviously skeptical because it's been so long and all. So
right.
I was wondering, where could she get, like, the live stream to listen to you or some old archives or some other video stuff to get her information on the tea and the possible benefits that she can get?
Yeah, we're on virtually every streaming platform that there is, from Spotify Radio to Alexa to iHeartRadio. One of the easiest ones, if a person is not using a streaming platform right now, is iHeartRadio. You can either download the app on a cell phone, or you can go to a computer and just type in iHeart.com. And once you're on iHeart's app or the computer, all you have to do is type in Tahibo in the search engine, TAHEEBO, and it'll play you one of our archive shows. As a matter of fact, there's hundreds of archive shows, and we're actually working on new ones to upload that'll be just completely different. But nonetheless, the ones that are on there right now are good as well, and she'll be able to listen to our radio shows and All she has to do is in iHeartRadio, type in Tahibo, and that's it. Now, for more information about Tahibo tea or to order, visit our website, TahiboTeaClub.com. The first word is Tahibo, spelled T-A-H-E-E-B-O. The second word is tea, spelled T-E-A. The third word is club, spelled C-L-U-B, then .com. So the complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com. That's TahiboTeaClub.com. Or call us at our offices in Los Angeles.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. As a result, it naturally has antifungal, anti-infection, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea helps build red corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com.
You're listening to the Tahibo Tea Club radio show, hosted by Milan Vukovic, founder of the Tahibo Tea Club.
And included in the package, there will be informational literature that'll tell you all about the beneficial properties of the tea. And if you ever need any more of the informational literature that your friends or relatives are interested in, all you have to do is call our office and say, hey, listen, I need 10 or 20 booklets or whatever it is. Can you send them to me? And they certainly will. I got a call from a guy up in San Francisco one day, and he says, you know those booklets that you automatically include with every order? I go, yeah. He goes, well, he says, could I buy some? I says, you don't have to buy them. We print them for informational purposes. He says, you don't understand. I was literally on my deathbed with cancer, he goes, and he says that now I'm completely recovered just by drinking your tea, and everybody at my church wants to know what happened. And I need like 800 of them. I says, no sweat, man. We'll send you 1,000.
Not a week goes by that someone doesn't call in with a truly miraculous recovery. Bone cancer, brain cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, mesothelioma, leukemia, diabetes, you name it. And not a day goes by that someone doesn't call in with some type of a success, whether it's just beating toenail fungus. Well, toenail fungus may not be imminently life-threatening, but if you have it, you don't like it. The Tahibo tree is an amazing tree. It never gets sick, never gets infected, and never gets infested. As a result, the highest potency Tahibo comes from the inner bark of the tree, where the arterial and vein system, called the xylem and the phloem, in the tree reside, which brings nutrients to the rest of the tree. And that's why we only harvest mature trees over 40 years old in the rainforest of Brazil. The harvest method we use is to semi-strip some outer bark to get to the inner bark without cutting down the tree and allowing the tree to heal itself so they can be harvested again. It's also the only tree in the world that fungus doesn't grow on. So as a result, it naturally has antifungal, anti-infection, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. These benefits go a long way to helping our immune system contend with a lot of things it normally has to contend with on a daily basis. Parasites would be something like stomach problems. Inflammation would be something like rheumatoid arthritis. Infection would be any infection from a tooth infection to a bladder infection. Viral would be something like herpes. Bacteria would be something like gum disease or stomach bacteria. And fungus would be something like toenail fungus or candida. But maybe more importantly, what the tea does is build the red corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. Our immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer happens to die on oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps regenerate new cells. Everything from the cells in our skin so we look better to the cells in our organs so they function properly. And it can truly be miraculous for somebody fighting a potentially life-threatening disease such as diabetes or cancer. In future programs, we'll discuss Tahibo tea versus AIDS, anemia, arthritis, asthma, bronchitis, other types of cancers, colitis, diabetes, diverticulitis, eczema, fungus, gastritis, gonorrhea, gout, HIV, impotence, infections, leukemia, lupus, Parkinson's, prostatitis, pyorrhea, rheumatism, ringworm, ulcers, virus, and yeast infections. One time a customer asked me, he said, boy, it sounds like the tea helps with everything. It does really help with a lot of different things, but for some things, for example, with the bones, calcium helps with the bones. The Tahibo helps with a lot of different things, but you need some other things also for a healthy diet. I'd like to talk a little about the proper preparation directions for Tahibo tea to be effective. Even though we call it tea, what you're actually preparing when you make it properly is a decoction. A decoction is just a fancy word for what our forefathers used to make when they used to take a root and cook it in order to release its beneficial properties. It's easy, but you don't steep it in hot water like regular leaf tea, but rather cook it like spaghetti. I'll tell you how easy it is to make just so you don't think you'll need a degree in physics, but you don't have to remember any of this because the directions, of course, are on the packages as well as in the literature you automatically receive with your order. You take a pot of water, bring it to a boil. Once the water is boiling, you toss in a tablespoon of tea for every 2 cups of boiling water. Cook it on high for 5 minutes, reduce the heat, and cook on simmer for an additional 15 minutes. Since our tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus doesn't grow on, you can make a whole big batch, 10 or 20 cups at a time. Leave it in the pot on the stove, and it'll stay good for 4 days without refrigeration. Put it in the fridge, and it'll stay good for 8 days with refrigeration. And you can drink it hot, room temperature, cold, or iced. The tea has a mild, pleasant flavor, kind of halfway between Lipton tea and green tea, but a little bit sweeter than either one of those. Our tea tastes so good that 95% of our customers drink it straight without putting anything else in it. Even teenagers drink it straight. So, you know it must taste pretty good. You can, however, add anything you want to the tea after you prepare it, such as lemon, for example. About the only thing we don't recommend to add to the tea is sugar. Not because it has any contraindications with our tea, but because sugar feeds virtually everything bad in our body, from fungus to diabetes to cancer. The other thing you can do to change the flavor and have some fun while cooking the tea, you can take any old fruit that you have on hand, like an apple, a pear, a peach, mango, whatever it is, slice it up, or take blueberries and crush them up and toss them into the boiling water at the same time you're tossing the tea in, and cook it with the tea. You can also take ginger or a cinnamon stick and cook it with the tea. And because the tea naturally has such a mild flavor, you'll immediately change the flavor to the fruit that you're using. This is especially useful when you're giving the tea to a child to drink, because an 8-year-old has not acquired a taste for any kind of tea, regardless how mild it tastes. Tahibo tea has no contraindications with any medications, so it can be taken on an empty stomach, a full stomach, with medications or without medications, and with or without other therapies.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau de Arco Super Tea helps build red corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TaheeboTeaClub.com. Taheebo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TaheeboTeaClub.com or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TaheeboTeaClub.com. Taheebo Tea Club's original Pure Pau de Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. As a result, it naturally has antifungal, anti-infection, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TaheeboTeaClub.com. Taheebo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TaheeboTeaClub.com or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TaheeboTeaClub.com.
Welcome back to the Taheebo Tea Club radio show. Now, this next segment is a segment with live listener call-ins from previous shows, and you'll be hearing their questions, their successes, and their experiences with Taheebo tea. So please do give us a call and let us know how the tea works for you. Thank you.
Today, we have visiting with us one of our customers, and all of the cases are personal to the people, and because they do involve medicine, we do not release the names of the people. Of course, my father is my father, so you're also welcome to meet him, and you know who he is. But otherwise, unless somebody tells us, please go ahead and broadcast our name. If we're talking about a case, we don't do that. So it's the same thing when you give us a call and you talk about your case, we won't be giving out your name. So we have a customer here that is visiting us today, and she came in a couple of weeks ago and bought the tea for a coworker of hers who I believe had fourth-stage prostate cancer. Can you tell us a little bit about your coworker's prostate cancer?
Yes. His doctor diagnosed him with the fourth stage of prostate cancer approximately 4 months ago, and they have him on chemotherapy. They're giving him 2 shots of chemotherapy twice a month, and his PSA test was off the charts, and he was looking for a remedy to help him to live because the doctors did not give him a good diagnosis about this prostate cancer disease. So I gave him a tea. I bought the tea for him approximately a month ago and had him to try it, and because he was doing the chemotherapy.
Can you also tell us what symptoms that he had and the effect of chemotherapy?
The symptoms he had was he was really internally, he was feeling very, very sick, and he had a lot of pain internally in his body, in his abdominal region. And he just felt very, very sick and nauseous, and so that's what prompted him to go to the doctor. And the chemotherapy that they started him on, which were the 2 shots a month, were making him very, very sick and nauseous. And so the tea, the Taheebo tea that I gave to him, and he started boiling and drinking, he was up to 3 cups a day that he was able to drink. He just had a appointment with his doctor this week, and he told the doctor that before his pain level was approximately at least 200. That was his level of pain that he was he was bearing in his body, and it was very painful for him and excruciating. And with the appointment this week, he told his doctor that his pain level is now between 5 and 6. So it has dramatically decreased. So with the pain decreasing, that means his body is becoming more and more well.
Well, that is fantastic. And that's exactly what the tea does. The very first thing that the people notice that are taking the tea for cancer is that the tea gets rid of pain virtually immediately. And when I say virtually immediately, we're talking about anywhere between 1 and 10 days, on average in 5 days. And we're talking about even people with really severe pain who are taking 10 or 20 narcotic pills daily. So we're looking forward to the results of your coworker's appointment from his doctor that I'm sure he'll receive this coming week. Because if the pain has been reduced, then the next steps in terms of cancer eradication are also going to be reduced. Now, a lot of times on our cases, we get calls from people that are diagnosed with different types of cancers, and oftentimes they are only given maybe 3 or 4 months to live, and they call us up and say, I realize we're all going to pass away at some point, but I just need some time to be able to put my kids through school because I have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. So if I can just get them through school 10 more years, and then I'll be at peace. Well, I tell you, our prayers are with us, and if you have a moment and you'd like to say a prayer, I'd like to join you in for a prayer to help your coworker and all of the people that are fighting serious diseases.
Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord God, we ask you right now to look on all of those that are sick and afflicted and diseased in their bodies. And we ask you, Lord, to utilize this tea, get the word out to the people that are sick and feeling hopeless, that they don't have any hope to live. We ask, God, that you will allow this tea to be purchased by them and to be utilized by them on a consistent basis, and allow that tea to initiate healing and restoration in their bodies. And we speak and decree that wholeness and wellness will be manifest in every body. And we pray, Lord Jesus, that they will have a testimony to your honor and glory of healing and restoration in their bodies. And we thank you, Lord, for a great move of your Holy Spirit in this earth, God, to proclaim the gospel to these precious souls and to bring them into the saving knowledge of you, Lord Jesus, and save their bodies from metastasizing and from toxification. And we thank you, Lord, for cleaning out the body through this Tahibo tea. In Jesus' name, amen.
Well, thank you very much. We hope to have you visit with us again. And, God willing, the tea will do for your coworker the same as it's done for so many other people.
Another customer called if we knew that dogs prefer our tea over water. We told him we knew dogs liked our tea, but why did he think they preferred it over water? He said he had multiple dogs, one of which was sick. Since he had 3 dogs, he also had 3 water bowls, and he replaced one water bowl with the tea, and that bowl was gone first every day. So, since the dogs were the only ones drinking out of the bowls, it was easy to figure out that the dogs preferred the tea over water. So, all you do to get a dog to drink the tea is just swap out the water for the tea, and the dogs will drink it. And if by chance they don't, all you do is put 2 or 3 ice cubes in it, and the dog will think it's dessert, and by tomorrow he'll be asking you for the tea. I have a lot of cases of dogs. One time, a funny incident, we had a lady call in and say she had a friend who had a Chihuahua, and she gave it the tea, and it no longer shed hair anymore. And since she also has a Chihuahua, she gave the tea to me, and now my dog doesn't shed hair anymore. And we'll have to continue the story after we come back from sponsor break. See you in 2 minutes.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau de Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. As a result, it naturally has antifungal, anti-infection, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau de Arco Super Tea helps build red corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com.
Now, for more information about Tahibo Tea or to order, visit our website, TahiboTeaClub.com. The first word is Tahibo, spelled T-A-H-E-E-B-O. The second word is tea, spelled T-E-A. The third word is club, spelled C-L-U-B, then .com. So the complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com. That's TahiboTeaClub.com. Or call us at our offices in Los Angeles at 818-610-8088. Our Los Angeles office is open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. This next segment is live listener call-ins from previous shows. With regards to her joint pains, the tea will certainly help her. However, in some conditions it helps more, and in some conditions it helps less. So, if her joint pain is caused by rheumatoid arthritis, the tea will completely help her because rheumatoid arthritis is muscle-based. Now, if the joint pain is because of osteoarthritis, the tea will still cut down on the inflammation and reduce the pain. However, the tea will not remedy or fix the bone-on-bone grating that she's having. So if it's a knee joint, at some point she's going to have to get knee replacement surgery if that's what she wants and wants to get rid of that pain completely. But the tea will still help her even if she's got bone on bone by cutting down on the inflammation and the pain. On the other hand, if it's rheumatoid arthritis, in that case, it'll completely help her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Just as a side note, I actually took it for a skin condition that I have.
Yeah.
And I've seen tremendous improvement on that. And then I
Yeah.
did have a nail that I just thought was funky, and apparently that was like fungus or something. So
Right.
I've seen clearing up of that happening, and I wasn't even expecting that.
Yeah,
So,
that happens. God bless you, man. That happens all the time. People will buy the tea to address one concern, and then to find out they're going, oh, heck, it's fixed this too, and they get all surprised and everything like that. I had this one guy call me up, and he says to me, I couldn't lift my arm, one of my arms, more than parallel to the ground, like 90 degrees. And I said, man, you sound like George Burns when he went to the doctor, and he says to the doctor, my left knee's bothering me, right? And the doctor says to George Burns, he says, what? He says, it's 90 years old. And George says, well, so what? So's my other one. But that's not bothering me. Anyway, he says, yeah, that's what it's like. He says, one arm I could lift up, above my head, and the other arm I couldn't. For no apparent reason, he goes. And I went to doctors, he goes, for 2-3 years. Nobody ever figured it out. And I didn't even buy the tea for that, he says. I bought it for something else, he says. And I started drinking a tea, and he says, I noticed, he says, that, I could start lifting my arm above my head, like my other arm, like I'm going to dunk a basketball, he goes. I'm going, this is truly amazing. And he says, and I never knew what the cause of it was, and nobody ever figured out what it was. He said, but all I know is once I started drinking the tea, man, now I can lift both arms above my head. So, yeah, that's great. When you find things that the tea helps with that you weren't expecting, it's a good surprise.
Yeah, and just as another benefit, like, it's not necessarily a brain fog or anything, but I just feel that my mind's sharper after having it too. So just overall health.
Yeah. We get that all the time, where people call up and go, I'd read about wellness and this and that, and I felt pretty good, but he said I really didn't realize what real wellness was until I started drinking your tea, where my body, my brain, everything started feeling just like really good. He goes, so because what the tea does is it helps the body to heal itself, to be doing what it was supposed to be doing in the first place. So from that standpoint, it's beautiful thing, and you got to drink something anyhow. So it's truly beneficial.
Yeah, but I think it'd be great if you guys could get some more stuff on YouTube or anything, because like when you go look at that, a bunch of other things come up, but it should be like everybody should be going to you all instead of all the other distractions or other things. That way,
right. Yeah, well, we've got a couple of things up on YouTube, but you're absolutely right. We need to get some more up right now, and so we're putting together a staff to actually do that.
Gotcha. Well, whatever we can do to reach out to people that are already there. We need to get people's email addresses too. Tell them to like, share, follow.
You got it. Thank you so much for calling in.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. As a result, it naturally has antifungal, anti-infection, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau Arco Super Tea helps build red corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TaheeboTeaClub.com or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TaheeboTeaClub.com.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 a.m., the station that leaves no listener behind.
The information and opinions you hear on the Del Walmsley Radio Show are those of the host, Del Walmsley, his guests, and his callers, and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of this station, its affiliates, its management, or advertisers. The Del Walmsley Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Del Walmsley Show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.
Portions of the show may be previously recorded. Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del challenges the status quo, questions everything, and empowers you to return to your core beliefs to make your life better. If you're ready to hear the truth and get your roadmap to the lifestyle you really want, the next hour will change your life. And now your host, self-made millionaire, national award-winning investor of the year, CEO and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley.
Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. I'm your host, Del Walmsley, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. But financial freedom, what does that really mean? It means the ability for you to live and continue to live even if your boss says we're going to cut you loose. So what about when you decide to cut yourself loose? Or maybe your boss does it for you prematurely before you're ready. Are you going to be ready to retire? And if so, what is going to be the major dominating factor in your retirement plan? Well, an interesting article came out. It was in an article by a survey was done by Money Tips online. And this article was really interesting because they posed a question that I've never heard it posed this way before. And the point is that many people, before my age, our parents, grandparents grew up with something called a defined benefit plan, where they knew what they were going to get when they retired. They had a certain pension amount that they were going to receive, and they do that, plus their Social Security was going to hold them through no matter how long they live. But now people have these new kinds of plans, which are contribution plans, like 401ks and IRAs. And with the contribution plan, the problem is it only gets larger and only exists as long as you feed it. So as you think about it, what are you really doing with your 401k or your IRA? You're taking money out of your current lifestyle and putting it aside for your senior years or your later years. Now, there's a couple things I don't like about that personally. Let's start with the fact that why does anybody want to save up to have some money when they're old? Wouldn't you like to have some money now? You say, well, I do because I work. But wouldn't you like to have the quality of lifestyle you're dreaming about in the future right now? And to do that, all you have to do is create passive streams of income. So we come out here, we produce some passive streams of income by buying rental houses or buying apartment complexes. And now we earn as much in our passive income as we do with our earned income. We're now given the choice, right? The choice whether or not we want to work. But that's an easy choice. It's a fun choice. It's a nice thing to say, I don't want to work anymore. That's okay. Or maybe you still do, you like your job, or maybe you want to do something that you've always wanted to do, but you felt you couldn't earn as much money doing it, so now you do something else you enjoy instead of something you don't enjoy. Those were all nice choices, but that's not what these guys asked. These guys asked the craziest question I've ever heard, and here it is. It says, at 65, I would prefer to live financially secure and die at 75 than to live another decade in poverty and die at 85. Do you agree or disagree with this? Amazingly, 40% of Americans agreed that they'd rather die at 75 than to live to 85, live 10 years in poverty to make it to 85. So therein lies the second of your problem. Your idea on how to retire first of all, starts with the idea you can't do it until you're 60, 65, 70 years old. All right? Then it's predicated on the fact you've got a pile of money you can live off of, and that pile of money will be used up to live on your later years in life. But the challenge of that is, how long are you going to live? If you're going to live now like people are living the 80s all the time, 80s and 90s, you know, it used to be 90% of the people were dead by age 65. That's why Social Security worked. But now, 90% of the people live past 65. That's why Social Security doesn't work. In the future, it's a Ponzi scheme that's going to blow up. We all know that. Let's just get back to your retirement. How long will your money last you, and do you think it's long enough for you to live? And then the question comes down to, and this is egregious, I mean really grieving, would you rather die? We've been joking about this now for the last 27 years in our seminars. So, you know, you go to your financial planner, first thing you ask you is, how long do the males or the females in your family live? And you go, why do you want to know that? He goes, because our basic plan is we're going to figure out how much money you can take out of your pile each year so that it ends up with zero by the time you die. Your goal, then, is to die on time. Your goal is to die before you run out of money, because we can't make you any more money. That's what they're saying to you. We can't make you any more money. We really don't know how to produce money. We just know how to distribute the money you give us so that we can hold off the ultimate demise. But you've got to do your part. You've got to die before you run out of money. Wow. That's a strange thing. Now, there's some interesting ramifications of this article that I thought were, and it put an interesting twist on it. And that is, rich people don't believe how painful it is to be broke. They've never conceived it. So they voted, more of them saying, I'd rather live in poverty than die, because rich people believe that somewhere they'll get the money. They've never been in a situation where they can't get money. But poor people, in a very high percentage, much higher percentage, know what it's like to live without food, without shelter, to live on the street, or just to have to live off your family. They know what it is to struggle and how miserable it is to live without money in your life. And because of that, they definitely would rather die at 75. What am I going to do? You think my family, when I'm 75 to 85, my kids are going to be 55 to 65, depending on when they had, I had them. And I'm going to expect 55-year-olds who are coming into their own senior life to be able to take care of me for the next 10 years, from 75 to 85. Because it's going to have to be them. There's nobody else going to take care of us. A pittance of Social Security isn't do it. My plan is long since run out. What do I do? What do Americans that don't have retirement accounts do? Now, this is interesting. They only surveyed people that had retirement accounts, like 401ks and IRAs. If you would survey people that have no money at all, that would be an interesting one. Do you know that a very large percentage, and I don't remember the exact percentage, so instead of trying to say something that's not factual, let's say I have heard that somewhere around 50% of all Americans have less than $10,000 saved up for retirement. That's an astonishing number. Now, when you get to get up into more affluent society, you look at the average 401k, for example. 50% of Americans have less than $50,000 in their 401k, but the average 401k is like $75,000. Again, these are numbers off the top of my head. They're probably pretty close, but you can go look them up if you disbelieve what I'm saying. So if the average is only $75,000 for the people that have 401ks, how long can you live on $75,000? If you make $50,000 to $100,000 a year, how long can you live on $75,000? So you're ultimately going to end up living in poverty. That's a scary thing. It's a very scary thing. And I meet people all the time, and they say, well, it's too late. How do I do it now? Say, what do you mean, how do you do it now? You do it now the same way I did it when I was 35 years old. You start investing in real estate. Because at 32, 33, 2.5 years, I retired 34, so take that backwards, 31 and a half, wherever it was I started. I didn't have any real estate, and I didn't have very much money, but I just went out and bought my first rent house. And then my second, my third, my fourth, my fifth, my eighth, my 11th, and so on and so on. Where do you start? You start wherever you're at right now, because 2.5 years later, I retired. So 2.5 years from now, you could retire. So if you're 65 and you're sitting there going, is it too late for me? And the answer is, of course it's not too late. Now, I had someone send me an email that we'll go over when we come back. But basically the question was, I'm 70 years old. Should I be investing at my age? And the question is, what else are you going to do? Are you just going to let your money run out? Or should you have whatever money you have earning income? We'll cover that when we get back. If you'd like to call and ask questions today, I'm going to be doing emails today. I'm going to be doing documents today. So the whole day is open. We'll be right back with the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Del says the things you just can't say to your friends, boss, kids, financial planner, or your spouse. Need him to deliver the message? Don't worry. We podcast every broadcast. Go to DellOnTheRadio.com and turn up your speakers for everyone to hear. Del delivers his unconventional wisdom 24 hours a day at DellOnTheRadio.com. Need more unconventional wisdom that will set you free? Go to DellOnTheRadio.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
You can't be financially free if you're psychologically imprisoned by disabling belief systems.
Are you ready to break free from your disabling belief systems about money, real estate, retirement, and financial freedom? Then join us for Lifestyles Unlimited's live online free workshop. Learn the belief system that thousands of people like you have used to break free from corporate America and create the lives they have always wanted. Register at LifestylesUnlimitedFreeWorkshop.com.
What is Del Walmsley, CEO and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, up to in today's market?
I'm out there right now looking and buying everything I can get my hands on for a better deal than what I could get it for a week before. And I'll just keep buying. I did that back in 2008. I bought a property worth $35,000 a door. I bought it for $26,000 a door. Next month or so, I bought the same age property, and I bought it for like $19,000 a door. But by buying at 26 when they were getting killed from 35 down to 26, buying at 26, let the broker know I was a buyer in a downward spiraling market. And so from that point on, I bought 3 or 4 more. I can't remember exactly. I think it was 4 more I bought from there. And the brokers were just bringing them to me, go, look, you seem to be the only guy buying right now.
Are you ready to take advantage of the wave of opportunity coming to those who know what they're doing? Join us for the free online workshop at LifestylesUnlimitedWorkshop.com.
I'm Jeff Davis with Just a Thought. The conversations I've had with people in their 80s and beyond are thoughtful with rich stories they tell. People of advanced years have bodies that have suffered the ravages of age, but still have extremely sharp minds. On the flip side of that weathered coin are those that have trouble functioning. I'm not interested in banging on politicians of advanced age, but there are people who have been elected to office who have long overstayed their ability to function in a job that requires alertness, because so many American lives are affected by their decisions. We have a most extreme problem with the current president, who's showing obvious signs of dementia. It's not a political issue. It's an issue of what's fair to the American people and to the affected people who are serving. GOP Minority Senate Leader Mitch McConnell has exhibited 2 incidents we know of brain freeze, possibly a mini stroke or some other aberration. Meanwhile, Dianne Feinstein is in such bad shape her daughter's making decisions for her. We didn't elect her daughter, and we don't elect people who can't function in such important jobs. Just a thought. I'm Jeff Davis.
Lifestyles Unlimited members share their stories and strategies for success at case study events.
If you got laid off tomorrow, what would you do? Would you have to be working at McDonald's or wait to try and find another job with the downsizing the economy? Kept on coming to meetings, even with David Fisher online and stuff like that, but still we just like, we need to make the jump.
So we kept praying for time to get
this job done, to be able to find the properties. How do we find the properties? How do you find the time? And God answered our prayers, and he got downsized from his corporate job.
But they didn't buy just one house, right?
No, they did not. You're rehabbing house number
9 right now.
9.
Wow.
So every month, the cash flow is $3,200. Okay, the equity of all the houses is up to $280,000.
Join us this month and learn from people just like you. Check in person and online dates at lucasestudy.com. That's lucasestudy.com.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. In the first segment, we're discussing the fact that a survey was taken, and they found that a large percentage of Americans, 40%, roughly 40%, I think it's 39.9 or 39.8, something like that, percent of Americans would prefer to die than run out of money. And that mentality, I've been joking about that mentality for the last 27 years in my seminars, and now it just, to me, it blows my mind that literally turns out to be true, that is the goal, to die before you run out of money. Also, during the last segment, I told you I had an email that had come in, and someone had asked some questions. It was a question posted on our question board on the website, I believe. Or maybe he just called. I'm not sure, but basically here's what it is. The question is, how old is too old to invest? How old is too old to invest? And I'm sure where you're talking about that is you're talking about risk versus reward. Like, hey, if I'm old, I can't afford any risk. If I lose all my money, I'm going to go broke. Well, hey, that's the case when you're talking about things you have no control of, like the stock market. If you're buying into things you have no control of, then there does become an age where you can't risk anymore. And I don't even know what that age would be. I guess it's whatever age that if you lost 40% of your money at one time, you wouldn't be able to survive the rest of your life. I guess that's the way you would calculate it. But to me, other than that, it just doesn't make any sense, because let's think about it. Even in the most mundane situation, if you were 70, 80, 90 years of age, what are you going to do with your money? You're not going to leave it in a bank and sit and do nothing. You're going to at least put it in a savings account. I've got savings accounts right now. Some of my money sitting in is 1.75% interest. And if you don't know where to find that, just go on the internet. If you haven't looked it up lately, I've got savings account at 1.4%, 1.5%, 1.6, or 1.6%, whatever. 1.75 is the highest one that I've found so far. But, it doesn't matter whether I'm 80, 90, or 100. That's still invested. What they're talking about is not investing, right? Not investing in risky investments. So I started thinking about this, and I go, this doesn't make any sense. Now, the guy had some very specific situation, and I'm going to answer his very specific situation just to show you how crazy this is. But this isn't even as good as it is for everybody. I mean, other people are going to be different. But this guy's 71 years old. He has $800,000 in a retirement account. He makes $80,000 annually from a job, and he's just getting over cancer and has 10 years to live. Well, I just got over cancer a couple years ago. 5 years ago, so I guess I've only got 5 years left. And it's no big deal. I could have 5, I could have 10, I could have 50. It doesn't matter, because my money will last me the rest of my life. At some point at 71, and having had cancer, this dude should be retired. Why isn't he retired? Because some idiot out there convinced him to put his money in an IRA. Let me tell you what I mean. Let me show you what I mean. You got $800,000. Invested in a real estate deal, you're going to be making between 8 and 15% on cash flow returns if you pick the right deals. And that's going to be tax-free money. Where if you keep this in your IRA and you luckily make any money at all, the stock market doesn't crash on you, or maybe you're buying some safer stuff like some bonds, and maybe the bonds go up and down in value, but it doesn't matter if you never cash them in. Maybe savings accounts like I spoke about earlier. But when the money comes out of the IRA, it's going to be taxed at ordinary income tax rates. Whereas the money that we earn from the real estate is going to be tax deferred until we die. And then when we die, it's going to go away. There's going to be no taxes. We're going to defer, die, and never pay taxes on that income. So if this guy's got $800,000, all he has to get is a 10% return, which is very easy to make $80,000 a year. And in real estate, that would be tax-free. Wow. Now, I was sitting talking with one of my mentors yesterday, and I was discussing his approach. I guess to tell you it's Curtis Haynes, and we were discussing his approach to investing. And what he's basically doing is he's putting a small amount of money in each of 10 apartment complexes a year, passively in most cases. So he is diversifying, but with a large number of different investments with different lead investors to operate these things. He's got a very secure portfolio, safe portfolio, because it's so diversified. Yet at the same time, he's pulling out double-digit cash flow returns, and on many of these deals, anywhere from 2 years and out, they're refinancing and giving back tax-free his investment, completely tax-free, returning an amount of money equal to his investment, or greater or slightly less. And he's taking that money and reinvesting it again. And his statement is he's got so much cash flow coming in, he finds it harder to deploy the amount of income he's got coming in and get it back out there. So that's why he had to stop doing deals himself. He couldn't do deals himself fast enough. And so he started just investing with other leads so that he could get to more and more deals. And so I started thinking myself, that might be a good plan for me too. I've almost died of staph, almost died of cancer. I've got every kind of thing wrong with you can have wrong with you. Everything should be high is low. Everything should be low is high. I take medications for all kinds of stuff. Hey, why should I be doing anything anymore? Why should I be out there investing and running and operating these businesses? And I thought to myself, well, I really don't need to. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I don't need to. One of which, I have enough wealth right now that I could live for 50 years and still never, ever, 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 ever even touch my money, right? But secondly, I started thinking about why do I even need, to do it with the amount of money I have right now. If I stick it out there and earn 8-10% on it, I'm going to be making millions and millions a year. Wow. And then someone comes back and says, but should I invest at 71? The answer is absolutely. 71, 81, whatever you are, your money's got to be invested somewhere and not just sitting there doing nothing. The amount of risk, hey, that should be moderated. My risk levels are very low right now. I don't have hardly any risk at all. When I was young, I was willing to take a lot of risk. Do very risky deals with very, very high rates of return. So as I got older, I bought better and better properties, which cost more. The more they cost, the better the property. A little bit lower rate of return, but very solid, safe returns as I grew older and older. As you get older, you're probably going to want to think about safety. There's no doubt about that. But where do you ever get old enough that safety means no cash flow? See, that just doesn't sit right with me. There's something wrong about that theory that I just can't get my arms around. I hope that you understand what I'm saying. We're going to take a short break. Would you be willing to give up 10 years of your life to be able to retire in comfort? Or would you rather live 10 years in poverty? Take a short break. We'll be right back with the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Listening to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del will be right back with more life-changing principles in just a few minutes.
Need more unconventional wisdom that will set you free? Subscribe to Lifestyles Unlimited on YouTube and binge content that will actually help you get where you want to go in life. from people who are already there. With over 50,000 members and 32 years of proven success, there's so much more we want to share with you than what we have time for on the radio. On YouTube, we go beyond our shows and feature our best content from podcasts, interviews, expo, Masters Tour, fireside chats, special events, and more.
A woman came up to me a couple of years ago. She goes, you know, Del, this retirement stuff's great and everything, but I got a problem. I go, what's that? She goes, I married my husband for good, bad, ugly, for the rest of our life, better or worse, but not to have him at home with me every day. Get him out of here.
Sound like a problem you'd want? Learn how to retire in 5 years or less. Go to lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com.
There is a dream killer here somewhere today. You're going to run into somebody who's going to tell you this stuff doesn't work. Like Vanette said, it's a scam. This is probably a multi-level marketing program. Somebody is going to tell you it doesn't work because you're the wrong race, the wrong age, the wrong sex, the wrong sexual preference, the something or other. That this is all set up so rich people can be successful and all you poor people can't. And if you believe that, they've won. But if you don't, you win.
Don't believe the dream killers. Start winning today with the Lifestyles Unlimited free workshop. Get the knowledge you need to replace your income in 2 to 5 years, and then find out how to take action. Register for the free online workshop at lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Today, Melissa comes running up to me with a gigantic smile on her face. Just couldn't wait to tell me a bit of news. She says it's happened exactly like you predicted it would happen. It happened. And I said, what is that? She says, look on Facebook. There's an article on Facebook, a video, that says 138,000 families are leaving California for Nevada or Texas. 138,000 families. So what did I predict? I told you just as soon as they changed that tax law, where the state of California was ripping off the U.S. government, the federal government, us, by saying that you could write off your property tax, sales tax, and personal state income tax against your national federal income tax. And when the tax law got changed, this new Trump tax law changed, they took away the ability to write off state, local property, and state income taxes and local property taxes off against your federal tax return. That meant that the typical Californian had a 10 to 12% increase in taxes for just their personal income taxes alone. And then the average home in California is $400,000. In some cities, it's as high as $500,000 or $800,000. So you figure whatever property tax amount they charge, even if it's only 1%, is still a massive amount of money per year. If it's 2 or 3%, it's unbelievable. $40,000 to $80,000 a year in property taxes. They're now going to have to pay those. They're not going to be able to write them off against their federal income tax anymore. Guys, this 138,000 is only the first group. And interestingly enough, it's the group that are paying taxes. It's not the poor people moving out. So the state is going to go broke. Mark my words, the state is going to look for a federal bailout. And if the Democrats get back in power, they will let them have it. And the state is already trying to get around this law. What they're saying is, or what they're trying to pass a law to say is that your property taxes are a gift to the state. Your state income taxes are a gift to the state. And since you're gifting them, you can write them off as gift on your federal tax return. Man, I don't know how you play that game. I mean, does every state do that then? Does everybody do that then? The bottom line is, until the state of California figures out that it's been ripping people off over the whole entire country. First of all, it's ripping off the people. It's taxing those incredible state income taxes. But then the fact that they're letting everybody else in the government, the U.S. government, the federal government, is losing that income for the rest of us. And now that it's changed, if they don't change it back, somehow the Democrats don't get control and rig it some other way, they're going to actually really pay the taxes that they're consuming. And if that happens, this 138,000 families, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, the law was only passed early this year, and we're only in March. It's already 138,000 families. It could be 500,000 families by the time it's over. It could be 1 million families by the time it's over. Now, who's going to pay all that state income tax? And how are they going to pay for all those illegal aliens living on welfare, all the free schooling, free education, free medical they give out to everybody, especially all the illegal aliens? Right? Where's all that money going to come from now? Now, why am I bringing this up? Doesn't really bother me. I'm rich. So just because they're burning all of us, the burn job doesn't get to me because of the way I've set myself up to not pay income taxes through real estate investing. That income was tax-free, actually we call it tax-deferred until I die. According to that last article, I'm probably not going to live that much longer. But the bottom line is, the reason I'm bringing it up is, think about the investment values of things. If people are moving into Texas because of the beautiful tax laws here, the conservative environment here, to get away from the liberal craziness of California, then my gosh, real estate values in Texas are going to go up. Well, they have been, Del. They've been skyrocketing for the last 10 years. Yeah, and they're getting very high. I guess that means they're going to stop? No, they're not going to stop, because all the people that flocked to California for the weather, for the beautiful sights and scenery, are now flocking to Texas for the taxes, or the lack thereof. So my friends, I'm pro-Texas again. I see it coming. Now, it's interesting, the article said Nevada also. And I don't know that much about Nevada, but I'm definitely going to start checking it out and see what's going on up there. I believe that Nevada's a little further north, so people like myself would never live up there. I can't stand the cold. In fact, I was laughing with the producer here just a minute ago. He lives in Chicago, and he's complaining it's 34 degrees right now. And I said, well, why do you stay there? And he goes, well, you can get free hockey in the winter. I go, well, there's a trade-off in life, huh? Let's get some free hockey. No, but the bottom line is that I would live in Nevada compared to California to get out of 10 or 12% personal income taxes. Man, that's a lot. So there you have it. Big news. It's out there. It's occurring. Let's move on to the next topic. Here's one that says, email came in and says, it's been a while since I've had a question. Now I have one. I realize the radio show emphasizes more targeted towards rental houses and medium-sized apartments. Have you ever considered, or do you know about buying blocks of condominiums in a tower? I live in one, rent the rest, or live in one and rent the rest. Risk and reward might be too high. The financing problem may be too complicated. For now, I live in downtown Austin. I have seen the future plans for downtown. There are cranes, many places, and someone is spending a lot of money building them. Who's going to do it and make money, but I don't know the timing and the locations, everything. Condominiums are the worst investment you could possibly get into. Why are condominiums so bad? Number one, they're the most overpriced real estate you buy. When you buy real estate, Now let's think about it. We buy it either to live in it ourselves or to rent it to somebody else. When you buy real estate, you're buying either a situation where you want very inexpensive housing, in which case condominiums are very expensive, or secondly, you're buying it because you want privacy, like a yard for your dog to run in, your kid to play in, garages for your cars. Condominiums don't have that. You want home ownership. In a condominium, you don't own anything. You own the airspace inside of the unit. The only thing worse than a condo is a timeshare where you only own the airspace inside the condo X number of weeks a year. In a condominium, you have people that know nothing about real estate living in the building and creating the management group that manages the condominium. How do I know they know nothing about real estate? Because they live in a condo. Which comes first, chicken or the egg? If you're stupid enough to buy a condo, now you're the person on the board running the condo. And the condo board is run by a group of people who have no idea what they're doing. It's different than an apartment complex. We own the same number of units as in that high-rise building. We're running them totally different. Our cost factors are different. Our needs and desires are different. These guys are lunatics. How do I know all this? Because I've been in condominium associations. And when I was in condominium associations, inevitably, it irritated me so bad these guys were making such stupid decisions, making our association fee go up and up and up from 100 to 200 to 400. Some places it's 800, $1,000 a month. A month. Can you believe that? An association fee of $1,000 a month. But why? Because the idiots running the board don't know how to keep the cost down. None. No idea. Or they're idiots that don't fix anything. And when they don't fix anything, then the place becomes worth nothing, and it's miserable to live there. So your value becomes nothing. And eventually they have to hit you up with a special fee for a large amount to come back and fix the stuff they haven't on a regular basis been maintaining. No, my friends, do not buy condos ever, ever, ever. Take a short break. We'll be right back with the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
You're listening to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del will be right back with more life-changing principles in just a few minutes.
I created these case studies 30 years ago for this reason. You're the accountant. You're the CPA. You're the engineer, the IT guy. Do you follow what I'm saying? You're that little quiet cubicle guy. And you don't see yourself as a rich millionaire. So I have to bring the cubicle people up here. And you go, honey, look, he's got the same shoes I have on. Right? And he speaks in the same language that I speak in. And you've got to be able to see somebody you can relate to or relate with for this to work. Part of the reason I want you to speak to other people is because half of your, I'd say, challenge is that you don't believe you can be rich, is that you don't believe you can retire within 5 years. Until you can reconcile that in your mind, you won't be willing to take the steps necessary to get there.
Join us today. Check for in-person and online dates at lukstudy.com.
You allowed 15,000 members into your sandbox.
Thank you.
And so that speaks volumes. So for that, and as a family.
So you know why I did that? Everybody always asks, why did you do this? Because I was an ugly kid. My parents used to have to put a pork chop around my neck so the dog would play with me. And so I always wanted to have friends, and I figured if I could make people rich, they might be my friend.
Join Del and his successful friends. Start with a free online workshop. Register at lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com.
So when I say be ready, number one, to get ready, you better join up Lifestyles Unlimited and learn all these things we're talking about. You're out there piddling and, internet information and your buddy's information or your dad's information. It's not going to get you the results that we're talking about. You're going to have to be educated in what we're doing.
Learn from the people that are already where you want to be. Join us for the free online workshop at lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com.
Do you have questions you'd like to ask Del? Do so by emailing your question to ask del@luinc.com. Del answers his email and often shares his answers on air so others grow and learn as well.
I have a long one here. So I currently have around $1 million in equity in 13 single-family rentals, which I started buying 2 years ago. $250,000 cash from the recent sale of 2 rentals, and $250,000 equity in my personal home, getting a HELOC next month. I need to double the $1.5 million or one more time to get to $3 million equity position that I can then concentrate on an 8 to 10% return to get my targeted monthly income between $20,000 and $25,000 a month. Currently, I have $7,000 to $8,000 a month in cash flow. Pretty good cash flow, huh? I can still find single-family deals that I can capture enough equity.
Do you have questions you'd like to ask Del? Do so by emailing your question to askdel@luinc.com. Keep listening. Your host, multimillionaire and national award-winning investor, Del Walmsley, continues in seconds.
Want to continue the conversation inside the community? Follow Lifestyles Unlimited on Facebook. Stay up to date on upcoming events, market trends, member stories, featured podcasts, real estate wisdom, and more. You can even join us a couple times a month as we go live with our case study events right on Facebook from the comfort of your home. Get online and get in the know. Turn listening on the radio into participating in the community. Like and follow Lifestyles Unlimited on Facebook today.
The other thing, I think people hear landlord or property owner and they think of Donald Trump and other multi-billionaires that own real estate, and that's not who the vast majority of owners across the nation are. The typical owner of a rental property owns just a couple properties, and they're people just like me and you.
You can own single-family houses and apartments too. We'll show you how. Register at lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com. Join our national network of rental owners.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to Del Walmsley Radio Show. Today we're going through the mailbag and picking up articles that people have sent me and also emails that people have sent me. The next email comes down, has a few questions, says, do you need to be a preferred member to invest passively with the lead investors? The answer is absolutely you have to. That is the only way that we know that you have the accreditation necessary, that you have the understanding of the risks that are involved, understanding how the deals are put together, understanding of what the rules are to participate in these types of investments. And you need that to qualify to get into our deals. They're all private deals, and you have to be part of our private group. Number two, it says, I understand that being a lead investor is a big undertaking unless you can be in it full time. Does the same apply to IRO as in on-site management? Okay, as listeners out there, you have to understand a couple different terms to really be able to understand this. The first term is on-site management. That's your manager that lives on-site or just comes to work every day and runs the property. You, as an investor, should never be the manager. Now, you've heard John Boryak the other day say that his dad, when he bought him his first apartment complex, made him be the manager because he wanted him to learn the business from the ground up, and John was only 18 years old at the time, or 19 or something like that. And so he wanted him to learn it. So he put him in there, and it was a job. That's not what you're going to be doing if you're investing in apartment complexes. Number two, if you own an apartment complex yourself, you have a maintenance man and so forth, then you come to the level of, do you operate your property from the asset management position or not? For example, you might own, when I owned my first small apartment complexes, I never was the manager of any of them. I had managers on location at every one of them. Even my 10 unit had a manager. But I elected to be my asset manager. Now, what does that mean? That means I hired and fired staff. It means I did the accounting. And it means I negotiated the contracts with the vendors. Now, later on, as I got larger properties, I hired managers that could do most of that. They negotiated contracts with the vendors. They hired and trained the staff besides themselves. I still had to hire the manager, right? And so I was still the asset manager, but the amount of time taken to be that asset manager became very little, very, very little. About 4 hours a month on 3 apartment complexes. Very little. So, is this gentleman asking, as an IRO, how much time does it take? Well, if you know what you're doing and you have large enough number of units that you hire good staff, then it's not that much time. Then you got to come to the next level. What if you're going to go out there and you're going to buy something that needs to be fixed up? Now you're not only going to be the asset manager, you're going to be the construction manager, the renovation manager. Now that's what takes a lot of time. Now you got to go out there and make sure the vendors, the construction people are doing the right job, getting it done the way you wanted it done, follow through, budget all that stuff. Now you got more time involved. And again, just as an asset manager, right? Now you go one step larger. Many leads and or independent owners, myself included when I own my own properties, eventually set up their own management company. So now they own the company that's making all those decisions they used to make. And you hire yourself staff for the management company. So I had a supervisor that ran all my managers. She hired, fired, trained all my staff, managers, maintenance men, everybody. She hired, fired, and trained them. And then I had a bookkeeper that did all the accounting. And my supervisor negotiated all the vendors' contracts. So now I did nothing. And yet I was an IRO. I was an independent owner. And I did nothing. So it could be set up to do nothing that way, right? But again, if I were going to be doing a large construction deal, a total turnaround, well, then I'm going to be a little more involved because I'm going to want to talk to my supervisor more often, monitor our progress, so on and so forth. Now let's go one step further. That step is, okay, now I have a management company, not mine, but a third-party management company is operating the place. Now I'm going to be doing very little except monitoring the financial statements that come through to make sure that the progress that they're making is in accordance with what they guaranteed me they could come through with, and that we're getting the type of income that we're looking for out of the asset. In that particular case, I'm working very, very little, almost nothing, and I'm still an independent owner. So you see, there's many levels of this stuff, and the question that you asked just isn't one that is going to be easily answered. The next question is, would $300,000 or $400,000 be enough for an IRO to get on-site management? The answer is absolutely yes. There's no problem with that at all. With that amount of money, you can easily get into something with on-site management. And it said, I've never heard any comment about this on the radio. Should leads get additional benefits for fees for different things like acquisition? Our leads have a scale of additional benefit called override, which is a situation where as they have been successful in one deal, second deal, third deal, fourth deal, they can get paid a little bit of a disproportionate amount of the profits. It's not a large amount, but it's an amount that makes it worthwhile to be a lead investor without hurting the passive investors. The idea is if you took too much, nobody would invest with you. So you have to take a small enough amount that it would be fair to the other investors. So there it is, guys. That's the secret to starting out as an individual, if there ever was one. Remember, folks, as we do this stuff here, we're not doing it for just money. We're doing it for a quality of lifestyle that's unbelievable. And that's why a question like this, although very difficult to answer, is an important question. You got to decide what you want. If you want more lifestyle, then you're going to do different type of investing here with us. We have those types of deals also called passive investing. All right, it's been a great day. And remember always, it's not the money, it's the lifestyle. We'll see you tomorrow.
Listening to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, teaching you the opposite of everything you've been taught, so you can obtain the results you've never obtained. Join us 7 days a week. Can't get enough? Visit DelOnTheRadio.com to listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, access past show podcasts, and join the conversation.
The information and opinions you hear on the Del Walmsley radio show are those of the host, Del Walmsley, his guests, and his callers, and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of this station, its affiliates, its management, or advertisers. The Del Walmsley show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Del Walmsley show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.
These days, America's top economic officials tend to speak in intelligible bureaucratic gobbledygook. But once upon a time, there was a plain-spoken White House economist, and he even had a sense of humor. He didn't last. Alfred Kahn was chastised by the White House in 1978 for speaking clearly and honestly about the looming possibility of a depression. Too blunt, use softer words. So Kahn started calling the downturn a looming banana. When banana industry lobbyists complained, he switched to kumquat. In that spirit, let me warn you about an unemployment taco that the autocratic Federal Reserve System is cooking up for working families. The Fed, as it's called by jolly bankers who run it, say it's imposing, quote, the restoration between supply and demand in the labor market. They soothingly add that there will very likely be some softening in the labor market conditions. You can almost hear them humming Rockabye Baby, but don't nod off. As Bryce Covert, the insightful economic digger and truth-teller, recently explained, there's nothing soft about the Fed's arbitrary policy. It means fewer raises and more people out of work, which means about 1.5 million people will lose their jobs. She documents that, historically, such a jolt of unemployment will probably, get ready for scary words, trigger a recession. Or a taco, if that makes you feel better. The mumbo-jumbo of economists aside, what we have here is the same old power play of moneyed elites putting the jobs and wages of working families on the chopping block to jack up the exorbitant profits of monopolistic corporations. When the Fed bankers say they're restoring balance, they mean restoring the power of corporate bosses to rule unilaterally over America's workaday majority. This is Jim Hightower saying, in plain language, this is blatant class war by the privileged few against the many. Howdy-ho, folks, and thanks for tuning in to my Hightower radio commentaries. And guess what? There's even more Hightower waiting for you online. Subscribers to my Substack newsletter, Jim Hightower's Lowdown, get commentaries, articles, interviews with progressive sparklies, live events, historical nuggets, and more. Go to jimhightower.substack.com to sign up, and you'll get more. That's jimhightower.substack.com.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Taylor. Families who lost loved ones on 9/11 are now gathering at the World Trade Center Memorial in Manhattan. During the ceremony, names of the nearly 3,000 victims killed are being read out loud, along with tolling of bells and moments of silence. For the first time this year, there will be a tribute at the Memorial Glade after the ceremony to recognize people who have died from and are still experiencing illnesses